Well, hello, niggas. So, boom. First off, let me start off by saying I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. But, or should I say, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, man. Fuck all that, nigga. You a rat, and we about to explain how you a rat. Moist ass. So, for those who is new on my channel, I have posted this video explaining how 1090 Jake is a rat. But this nigga comes on my shit and says there's a reason who posted this, deleted it, laughing my ass off. This whole video cap. Really? Really? So, let's break it down. First off, we ain't about to get this hunky no pass who keep putting blasts on niggas about ratting. And you did the same shit, nigga. So we gonna go through and bust down your little interview you had with the damn DA and all that shit, nigga. Let's watch the actual and listen to the actual goddamn proof of you ratting, nigga. First off, you a fake blood from Boston. Then you moved to goddamn Florida where they didn't want you, nigga. For the fact of, when I listened to all this audio and how you ratted, you was running with a bunch of white boys with red shirts on. So y'all thought y'all was blood. But when that nigga in sight, and you stole a gun from your own people who let you live in their house, and you told on the motherfuckers who helped you steal the gun, and you gave a description. That's telling. But neither here nor there, nigga. You moist ass hunky. Not only that, how does hunky get a pass for being a blood? Don't that mean you gotta slide on niggas? Hello? Don't that mean you slide on niggas? So we giving this white supremacist a pass to kill and slide on niggas? I don't believe you. I don't believe you, 1090 Jake. So let me go ahead and bust your bubble like you be trying to do to all these niggas. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, and let's get right into it. Moist ass hunky.
It was a drive-by shooting, and 1090 Jake identified the shooter. So a lot of street
Where
cats.
did you see that at?
Huh?
Where did you see
It's
that
on
at?
the internet. It's on the internet.
The paperwork?
Yeah, but
We can just go on Pacer and get it then.
Huh?
We can just go on Pacer and get it. I'll call the lawyer and just tell him give me the paperwork.
Yeah,
I got it.
out
Don't
there,
worry about
but
it, yo.
In hip hop.
Why you say that?
When you got a white boy 1090 Jake mediating and refereeing shit.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah. You know, Rollo, big time street dude.
Yeah.
Everybody in hip hop saying he snitched, you know, multi-millionaire. You know, highly respected and highly credible in the streets. And yeah, 1090 Jake come in and mediate and the white man words make, you know, yeah, I hate this shit.
The other thing I have admitted to was trying to trick the feds and manipulate the feds.
The thing about it is I met up with Kevo. I got to meet him. I got to get an idea on the type of person he is. Jacob Cherry.
The ultimate hunky blood, which is a lie. Nigga, you start getting money and you start buying your way in the game, nigga. But let's listen. Moist ass nigga.
Sir, you're charged with armed burglary of a dwelling. No bond. Grand theft of a firearm. $2,000 bond.
The following is a copy of a call to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office on October 1st, 2012 at 21:28 hours, received by position CT4.
911, where is your emergency?
Actually, I just walked to my house and I could tell somebody.
Now, what y'all about to hear, since motherfuckers think I'm capping and reaching on this nigga, on this hunky who been capping and reaching, probably not capping, but reaching on other niggas. Now I'm about to do it to you, you moist ass, fake ass hunky. And then on top of that, what y'all about to hear is his uncle, his auntie's husband, calling the police, letting them know that somebody stole their gun out their house. And whoever stole their gun out the house had a key. Now listen to this shit.
It's Rhonda. What's your address? Is it a house, mobile home, or apartment?
It's a house.
And how long ago do you think it happened?
I don't know. It's somebody that has a key to my house because obviously I didn't see any broken windows. But one of my guns are gone. They've gone through our drawers. They've been in our garage. the room and my door was shut with my dogs, and I never leave it shut. So I could tell somebody came, and they took all the change that was in my closet that we could collect in the thing. They took my .45 Smith & Wesson.
What model?
MMP.
You heard that right?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mr. Cherry is present and in custody, Your Honor. We are going to be resolving his cases today. I'm passing forward the plea forms. The agreement calls for 3 years prison concurrent on both cases.
All right, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, you can put your hand down.
Don't that sound familiar? He said, yes, ma'am. Wasn't he getting no gunner for saying, yes, ma'am? Nigga, you a yes, ma'am hunky too. But let's keep listening.
The influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medicine? Have you been satisfied with the help you've received from your lawyer? Is there anything else you want her to do on your cases before you plead guilty? Do you want her to follow up with witnesses, do any other investigation, file motions as to defenses, anything like that? Your plea agreement in case number 12-14358 says you wish to plead guilty to 3 charges: armed burglary of a dwelling, which carries with it a maximum penalty of life in prison; grand theft, which carries with it a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison; and grand theft firearm, which carries with it a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison. You wish to plead guilty to those charges? In case number 12-1...
Today, we got to talk about a popular YouTuber based out of Florida. According to himself, he's a well-documented blood. Recently, he's been known for some of his work he's been putting on YouTube, far as exposing people who may have been telling, allegedly. With almost 1 million subs and millions of views on this platform, it would seem that he's here to stay. But I recently got my hands on not only paperwork, official paperwork, but also court proceedings and 911 calls to authorities down there in Tampa, Florida.
So you motherfuckers saying I'm reaching. We got paperwork. We got audio, just like the same shit he be having. But I'm reaching because I'm blasting out a hunky who trying to blast out us.
Through the information that I receive, that I will be displaying to you guys, we might gotta think twice on reevaluating the stories that he put out on his platform in regards to snitching. Jacob Cherry, aka 1090 Jake, gave a statement on 2 teenagers. Now that statement ended up getting 2 people arrested. But not only that, a couple months after, he broke into his aunt's house and stole some firearms, later getting arrested. Now I have the full audio of his court proceedings, but the strange thing that you'll later hear in the video is in one of these hearings, he accepted a plea, which we know don't always mean you snitching. But according to him, like he said with the rapper Gunna, that's snitching. That's why I say we gotta reevaluate some of these videos. So before we break all this down, remember family, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we're gonna jump right to it. In the early 2010s, Jacob Cherry, he gave a statement to authorities saying the following. 1090 Jake stated he was sitting in his living room watching television when he heard glass breaking in the bedroom, following what sounded like a gunshot. He entered the bedroom and observed 2 holes in the window. He looked outside and saw 2 white teenagers, estimated to be 13 to 14 years old, running northbound on Fremont Street towards Waters. One of the teenagers was wearing a red shirt and shorts, while the others was wearing a black t-shirt and green shorts and carrying a black airsoft handgun, which is considered to be a BB gun. Mr. Cherry, 1090J, was unable to identify the teenagers as he had never seen them in the area before. But pay attention, because he did give a description of what they was wearing, which got them later arrested. The investigation officer, Officer Gurry, he was in patrol in the area. He observed 2 individuals matching the description that 1090 Jake had gave to authorities. The individuals were apprehended on North Orleans Avenue and questioned in regards to the shots fired. The individuals were identified, and of course we blanked them out. It went on to say, upon questioning, blank and blank stated that they were just playing a prank and had no intentions of causing harm. They were both read their rights and charged with blank in a residential area and blank. Further investigation revealed that the incident occurred at 8314 North Fremont Ave, where a resident had reported hearing the shots of breaking glass and a gunshot, who we know now was 1090 Jake. The resident observed the 2 individuals matching the description provided by Mr. Cherry running from the scene. Now apparently, Jake wasn't an innocent guy, because just a couple months later, he would be caught with firearms on his waist and then apprehended to authorities before copping out to a plea. Now this right here is the actual photos of the incident, October 1st, 2012. This home is also the home that I just showed you just moments before. This home was a house that belonged to 1090 Jake's aunt and her husband at the time that was ransacked when they called authorities when firearms was missing as well.
The following is a copy of a call to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office on October 1st, 2012 at 21:28 hours, received by position CT4.
911, where is your emergency?
Actually, I just walked in my house and I could tell somebody's robbed us.
What's your address? Is it a house, mobile home, or apartment?
It's a house.
And how long ago do you think it happened?
I don't know. It's somebody that has the key to my house, because obviously I didn't see any broken windows. But one of my guns are gone. They've gone through our drawers. They've been in our garage. The room to my door was shut with my dogs, and I never leave it shut. So I could tell somebody came and they took all the change that was in my closet that we could collect in the thing. They took my .45 Smith & Wesson.
What model?
And MMP.
MMP. Okay. Did it have ammo?
Yes, it did.
A full round or full magazine?
Full clip.
Any other ammo with it?
No.
Was it loaded at the time?
It was not cocked. It was under my mattress.
Okay. What color is it? What finish?
It's black, and I believe I have the security the number written down.
Okay. If you have it available now, I'll take it. Otherwise,
I'm gonna have to look for it real quick.
That's fine. When the deputy gets there, he'll take it from you. What else is taken besides the Smith & Wesson?
I had 2 boxes of change that we collect in our closet. One of my bags, my duffel bags. I'm not sure. My wife's on the way home. I don't know what kind of jewelry they got.
So a duffel bag's gone and jewelry?
Yeah, my duffel bag's gone. And like I said, I've been here 10 minutes, so I'm trying to figure it out.
Make sure don't touch anything if you can help it.
Okay.
Make sure that any kind of fingerprints or anything you think might be good for evidence that you don't mess with, is because if the deputy gets there, he needs to try to look at it and investigate whether or not it's something we might be able to lift good prints off of.
Okay.
So in the meantime, just make sure don't touch anything, but if you're able to, without messing up any evidence, to get that serial number. If not, you can get it when the deputy's there.
Okay.
Try to take a pen and paper somewhere and make a list. Start making a list of all the items.
Okay.
Any jewelry, describe it. Anything unique about it. If you have to wait for your wife, then we can always update that later.
Okay.
But, it's always sooner the better. The next couple days if you have to. But probably when the deputy gets there, you'll have that information ready for him or her.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. What's your name? All right. If anything changes or you think someone might be in the house or anything weird like that, I need you to call me right back, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is the end of the recording. This copy is duplicated by dispatcher 111 PID 233804.
Now this crime would go unsolved for months until 1090 Jake had one of the firearms on him when he was caught by authorities trying to break into a neighbor's car. When authorities arrested him, the gun had matched one of the stolen guns out his aunt's house. He was immediately arrested. Now what you guys about to hear is the court proceedings. When he first went to court, him accepting a plea and him getting...
So the nigga with a hunky, if y'all listening correctly, saying he ain't ratting all this shit, nigga, what y'all about to hear now was the actual court hearing of him taking a plea deal and all that shit. He gave a description when all this shit went down the first time, but he was in on it. Not only was he in on it, one of the motherfuckers he gave a description of was a white dude with a red shirt. The other one was white with black shirts on. They was in a gang, supposedly. He ratted on them. As a matter of fact, let's listen to it, nigga. Because he a rat. If this was 1090 Jake explaining somebody else's case, he would be considering them a rat and then putting them all on YouTube saying that they're a rat. It's your turn, hunky. Moist ass motherfucker.
This first case is the preliminary hearing. 1090 Jake actually finding out what his charges is.
Jacob Cherry. Sir, you're charged with armed burglary of a dwelling, no bond, grand theft of a firearm, $2,000 bond. Pardon me? You have 15 counts of grand theft firearm. Each of those counts have a bond in the amount of $2,000. Why does he have a no bond on the armed burglary? Anybody know?
Your Honor, he has a pending case, 2012 CF 14589. Defendant was arrested October 7th 2012. He obviously was out on bond. That's a carrying concealed firearm case. It has not been formally filed, but he does have another pending case, battery misdemeanor, 2012 CM 16845. That is set for arraignment on Monday morning. Given that he's committed all these offenses while out on bond, I'd ask that you revoke his bond on the underlying felony and misdemeanor and set whatever bond you believe is appropriate on the pending cases before the court.
You wish to be heard, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand if the court deems it necessary if he's out on bond to revoke the prior. However, we would request that Your Honor set a bond for this armed burglary of a dwelling and that it is a substantive charge. My client's already going to have some difficulty paying these aggregate bonds because they do add up. It's my understanding he's got that pending case, but it seems to me from reading the CRA, this appeared to be one incident, but it was a large cache of arms. However, we would request the court to consider setting a bond given the fact he's already at high bond and he's already going to be waiting.
Now, the state's witness was the arresting officer. Now, you're about to hear the state cross-examine him, and also you're going to hear the defense cross-examine him. But you will hear a detailed story of what happened that night when 1090 Jake was arrested alongside two of his friends.
See, what's next on the lineup?
You're right. It's your time, nigga. You canceled.
All right. And we have a motion to suppress filed in 12-14358 and 12-14589.
Yes, Your Honor. And by way of explanation, 12 CF 014589 carrying concealed firearm. The other case, Your Honor, is an armed burglary of a dwelling, grand theft firearm, and grand theft. The firearm found in 12 CF 014589 relates back to that other.
Okay. Mr. Chair, you can have a seat. State, how many witnesses do you have?
One, Your Honor.
Okay, and did you have any witnesses? Defense?
No, ma'am.
All right. Call your first witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Officer James Houston.
Sir, thanks for your patience this afternoon. If you'll go ahead and have a seat. Raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, you can put your hand down. If you'll state your full name for the record.
Officer James Houston, Houston.
Okay, go ahead, state.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to turn your attention. Actually, where are you employed?
I'm employed at the City of Tampa Police
How long have you
Department.
been so employed?
I've been with the City of Tampa since 2000.
Okay, any law enforcement experience before that?
Yes.
What's that?
So with the City of Largo from 1990 to 2000 before I came to Tampa.
What are your current duties at TPD?
Currently assigned to the K-9 unit in the Special Operations Division.
Okay. I'm going to turn your attention to October 7th, 2012. Do you remember that day?
Yes, I do.
On that day, did you come into contact with someone who later became known to you as Jacob Cherry?
Yes, I did.
Could you explain, could you please point to him? Is he in the courtroom?
Yes, he is.
Could you please point to him describing our clothes clothing?
He's sitting in the first row of the defendant's box in an orange shirt. White male.
May the record reflect the witnesses identify the defendant.
The record will so reflect.
Your Honor, I've got there are two gentlemen in orange shirts.
White male in the front, and he has a tattoo on his face.
The record will so reflect. Go ahead.
Your contact with him on that day, was that in Hillsborough County, Florida?
I'm sorry?
Contact with Mr. Cherry on that day, was that in Hillsborough County, Florida?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Why did you come into contact with him? Why are you in the same area?
I responded to an auto burglary call that just occurred.
Okay. What was the details of that call?
The caller was awoken by a dog, and as she looked out the window, she saw three male subjects. One in particular was attempting to break into two of her vehicles. One vehicle was a Volkswagen Jetta, and the second was described as a red Ford Mustang. The complainant gave a description of the three male subjects, describing the first one wearing a red shirt, camo-style pants, the second one wearing a white shirt, camo-style pants, and the third one was the description of carrying a backpack or book bag.
So, these are all fake white bloods walking around with blatant ass colors on. Real bloods don't do that shit. If they do, they in they hood. These motherfuckers in the suburbs of whites trying to be niggas. And then write it. Keep listening.
Caller advised that she yelled out the window and
Here's it.
the suspects fled.
Your Honor, it's a motion to suppress hearing.
Overruled.
You may answer.
The suspects, after she called out, yelled at them through the window. They left on foot.
Did she say how many were, or did the call indicate how many were actually pulling on the, actually strike that, I'm sorry. So, where was that call coming from?
That call was coming from 804 Seward Street East.
Where did you come into contact with Mr. Cherry that night?
At Waters and Lamar Avenue North.
What's the distance between those two locations?
Originally, I thought it was 2 blocks, and I went by last night, and I believe it's 6 blocks.
Okay. About how long after you got that BOLO description and that dispatch call, about how long after that did you come into contact with Mr. Cherry?
It took me about a minute to respond from my location.
All right. And when you came into contact with Mr. Cherry, what did you observe?
I observed Mr. Cherry. He was north of Waters on Lamar, and there's a open parking lot, and then there's a house. The house to the north, there's bushes up near the mailbox. I observed Mr. Cherry standing with his front portion of his body into the bushes.
Okay. What was Mr. Cherry wearing?
I illuminated him with my spotlight, put my overhead lights on. I observed that he was wearing a red shirt and camo-style pants. And simultaneously, I observed 2 other subjects walking about 30 feet behind him, southbound on Lamar towards his location. I observed one of them was wearing a white shirt, camo-style pants, and the third one was carrying a backpack.
What happened at that point?
There was no other subjects on the road or in the area.
Let me just stop you. Do they all 3 appear to have male qualities?
Yes.
Did you believe at that time that they were all 3 males?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
There was no other subjects in the area. These subjects matched the description that the complainant and victim gave. I ordered Mr. Cherry to step out of the bushes, walk over to my police car, put his hands on the hood of the car.
Okay, well let's go back. When you first saw him, you said the other end was about 30 foot behind.
That's correct.
And then, what exactly did you say and do to Mr. Cherry?
I put my spotlight on Mr. Cherry. I had him step out of the bushes. I told him, step over to my car and put your hands on the hood of my car. He began to look left and right as if he was going to run. I advised him I wouldn't do that. He heard my canine barking in the back, and he finally complied, walked over and put his hands on the hood of the car.
How far away were you from him?
Probably about 3 car lengths, 2 or 3 car lengths.
And what was your demeanor when you were talking to him?
Well, my demeanor was ordering him to put his hands on the hood of the car in an authoritative manner.
Okay. Were you saying anything to the other 2 individuals?
Yes. After he started to comply and put his hands on, I also ordered them to come over and put their hands on the hood of the car. And they immediately came over and complied.
Was it, through the dispatch call, was it indicated that all 3 were involved in breaking into cars?
The original call was just general that, yes, all 3 were involved. It was later advised to me that the victim stated that the one in the red shirt was actually trying the door handles of the cars, attempting to get in.
All right, so you finally got Mr. Cherry back to your car, put his hands on his car. What happened on your car? What happened then?
I immediately got on the radio and called for additional units.
Okay. What happened then?
Our units got there. We just had them stand there at the hood of the car. We gathered their information, their names, and Officer Ziegler brought the victim over to identify.
Okay. Did the victim make identification?
Yes.
How did that go?
One by one, each person was brought up, and the victim over the radio through Officer Ziegler advised, yes, that's a 100% verification. I brought Mr. Cherry up, and once his identification was done, I placed him in the handcuffs.
Mr. Cherry was identified as the one who did what?
The victim identified Mr. Cherry as the one that was actually trying to get into the cars by utilizing the door handles.
What did you do at that point?
I brought him back to another officer's car, and I actually did a search incident to arrest, and located a handgun, a pistol, stuffed down the waistband of his pants on the right side.
Okay, what kind of pistol was that?
It was a black Smith & Wesson 9mm handgun, and it had the under rail light, flashlight attached to it.
So at what point in time was this individual, Mr. Cherry, handcuffed?
He wasn't handcuffed until after the victim stated that he was involved, and yes, he's a 100% person.
May I have a mirror?
You may.
About what time of day did all this happen?
This was 4:01 in the morning, a.m.
And when you found Mr. Cherry, was there anyone else in the area at all?
No, there was not.
Was there any traffic in the area at all?
No, not that I recall.
And were all three of them on foot?
Yes.
Did they appear to be nervous? Were they running, anything like that?
Mr. Cherry was nervous, and the other male was nervous. The third party that had the book bag was actually a female. She was dressed as a male. She appeared to be a male. She had a short haircut, and it wasn't until we ascertained her name that we realized it was a female.
So this hunky, fake blood group running around with a dyke at 1 in the morning in the suburbs, breaking into cars. This nigga ain't from no hood. This nigga ain't from no hood to claim. This nigga ain't no real blood. He was just trying to fit in. Keep listening. He told.
Up until the point before you told Mr. Cherry to come to the car, again, what was Mr. Cherry specifically? What was his demeanor, attitude? Tired?
No, he was nervous.
Okay. All right, no further questions, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Now, you received by a dispatch the description of the individuals involved, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and the description you received was of 3 males,
Correct.
and you received clothing description.
Correct.
You didn't receive any information regarding age.
Not that I recall.
You didn't receive any information regarding race.
Correct.
You didn't receive height or weight that you can recall.
Correct.
Okay. So basically, a generic description of 3 males wearing a certain type of clothing.
I wouldn't say generic. Specifically, the clothing matched identical.
Okay. Red shirt, camo pants.
Camo pants.
White shirt, camo pants.
Correct.
And another individual with a backpack.
That's correct.
You didn't actually receive any information regarding direction of travel for these individuals.
That is correct. They left on foot.
All right. Other than on foot, not north, not west, not south, not east.
That's correct.
And you didn't receive any other identifying information such as tattoos
Correct.
or anything regarding haircuts.
Not that I recall. That's why we bring the victim down to do a positive ID.
So at the time you saw Mr. Cherry, the only thing that matched, he was male and wearing a red shirt and the camo pants.
Yes, and also it just was odd that he was standing in the bush line at that hour.
Okay. By a mailbox.
By a mailbox that was surrounded by a large bush, and he was actually, the frontal of his body was in the bushes.
Now, the other 2 individuals you said when you saw them were about 30 feet away.
That is correct.
Okay, so these 3 individuals that you eventually stopped were not together.
The 2 individuals were together, correct. They were walking together towards his location, south on Lamar.
But when you found them, they were not together with Mr. Cherry.
They were not with Mr. Cherry, that's correct.
Okay, and when you saw Mr. Cherry, you said you put a spotlight on him, correct?
That is correct.
And in an authoritative tone, you told him to come to your vehicle.
Yes, that's correct.
And you told him to put his hands, palms up, on the vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I believe you testified that he appeared to look left and right,
That's correct.
as if he was about to bolt.
That's correct.
Okay, so you told him you shouldn't do that.
That's correct.
And you warned him you would actually use your partner, canine partner.
That's right. I did advise him that.
Okay, so he was not free to leave at that point.
That is correct. He was not.
Okay. And same with the others who also complied.
That's correct.
Okay. And Mr. Cherry did, he did come to your car
Yes,
and placed his hands on it.
that's correct.
And you held him there until the victim could identify these individuals.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, of these 3 individuals, you said one was actually, turns out to actually have been a female.
That is correct.
Okay. But at the time it appeared it was a male?
Yes.
And search incident, you found this firearm.
That's correct.
And he was placed under arrest after the identification, is that correct?
He was placed into handcuffs after the identification, and then he was searched after he was handcuffed.
And all of that occurred after he was stopped and handcuffed?
That's correct.
Y'all hear this right? Keep listening. I'm gonna break it all down. In the sentence.
Can you redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may sit down. Thank you. Any other witnesses from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any witnesses from the defense?
Here's what tonight Jake defense had to say.
Go back to Cherry. All right, then let me go back to Cherry. Defense, do you have any argument?
Your Honor, it's the defense's position that in this case the stop was illegal based on the vague be on the lookout that was given. Simply put, the description of the people involved were three males with a certain clothing description, one with a red shirt camo, one with a white shirt camo, and another individual with a backpack. There was no specific identifying information such as what their race was, their age, height, weight, nothing else to identify these individuals other than their clothing. Didn't describe any tattoos, just very, very generic. Didn't even describe which direction from this house that these individuals had even escaped from. Just that they were on foot. Nothing else. We don't know where their method of travel is or anything else. Obviously, several factors are relevant when considering it be on the lookout, such as the length of time and distance from the office, the route of flight, and the description and the source of the be on the lookout. Also, you have to look at where the people are sighted and what their conduct was at the time of the stop. And also the information has to be reliable. Here I would submit to you that this was a very vague be on the lookout, and I've cited for the proposition LTSB state in my motion, 391 Southern 2nd, 695, it's First District Court of Appeals case. In that one, a robbery had occurred and a be on the lookout was issued for suspects that were simply described as two white males with curly hair. Within a minute or two of the be on the lookout, and within three quarters to 1 mile from the scene of the robbery, an officer observed a vehicle that had 2 to 3 occupants who had curly or bushy hair. Basically, they matched the description. They were white males with bushy or curly hair as was described. The officer in that case stopped the vehicle because they had so closely matched the description given on the be on the lookout. The issue was whether there was an objective articulable basis for the officer to believe that the occupants were involved in the robbery. The First District Court found that the description of the suspects given over the be on the lookout lacked the necessary specificity. A vague description simply would not justify a law enforcement officer, and this is quoting from the case, in stopping every individual or every vehicle which might possibly meet that description. And the court found that under the circumstances presented in that case, there was no objective articulable facts to justify the stop. I've also cited for the same proposition, State v. KW, 832 Southern 2nd, 803. That is a Third District Court of Appeals case from 2002. Again, in that case, an officer responded to a scene based on a be on the lookout for a juvenile wearing all orange and waving a firearm. When the officer appeared on the scene, the officer observed the juvenile KW wearing orange shorts, but never saw a firearm or any other verifying information. The officer followed KW, who eventually actually started to run in that situation, followed this juvenile all the way to the house, where he dropped the shorts off in the front yard. A woman picked up the shorts and put them in a washing machine. The officer went onto the property, detained the juvenile,